Hello, friends, and welcome to the very first episode of the State of Games podcast, the show where we celebrate video games and sometimes review them. Keep in mind, you can be a part of the show by heading over to twitter.com/TSOGtweets, give us a follow, and send us a question using the hashtag TSOGpodcast. My name is Peter Lopez, editor-in-chief at thestateofgames.com, and with me on today's show, we have managing editor David Quigley and staff writer Patrick Okolo. You definitely want to listen to the entire episode because it's going to be a really good one. Let's hit it. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the State of Games podcast. We are thestateofgames.com, and with me today we have David Quigley.
Hi, I Platinum Spider-Man.
And we have Patrick Okolo.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, guys. So we have a jam-packed show today, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. First up to bat is Nintendo, which, according to the Wall Street Journal, is reportedly working on a new version of the Nintendo Switch and plans to upgrade the system's, quote, low-end LCD display. Now, we obviously don't know the price for the system as of yet, but apparently the new version of the Switch is coming in the second half of 2019. So my question for you guys is this. What do you guys think of the potential of the Nintendo Switch redesign?
All right, I'll start. I think this is pretty normal. I see a lot of surprise about this, but if you look at historically the handheld Game Boys, Nintendo likes to release new models every couple of years. So I think this is pretty fast, but it won't be a major change. I don't think you're going to see a spec upgrade. Maybe you get a better resolution screen, but I don't really see the point if the system can't put the pixels out anyway. So that's what I think it is. Pat, if you have ideas, and I have my pipe dream later.
I mean, yeah, I think for sure it's like you said, something we expect. Definitely, I know when the first Switch got announced and sold on the market, things weren't ready to go yet, online and things like that. So this might be a chance for them to also add some extra stuff in there that the first Switch didn't have. So it could be good as well.
Yeah, build that dongle into the system.
Exactly. Yeah. I know people are saying the Joy-Cons as well weren't up to snuff, so that too could be improved in the way. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and then we have a note here about the Japan selling dockless Switches in March.
Right.
So. That's interesting, but I hope this is 100% the opposite direction. So what I really want out of this is the screenless Switch, where it's only the dock, and you can only play it on a TV. There's nothing to scratch up in and out. It's just you get that little plastic piece that you can put the controller into, and it's a home console.
So, I mean, I have a Switch, but I don't think you guys do. So would you consider buying a Switch if the redesign came out and let's say, hypothetically, it was just a docked system?
If it was a docked system, that's getting me closer because I'm assuming it being docked and given the specs of the console, that would also involve a price cut. And so, I mean, if you start getting to the point where it's closer to I don't think it would be 200, but say you knock off at least 50 from the start, give it another year, maybe that comes out halfway through the year, holiday next year, there's some good bundle, still want to play that Mario Kart even though it's an old Wii U game.
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, for sure, even though the Switch has done really well, I don't think everyone has a Switch. Like you said, me and David don't. So if they add some extra stuff or either change it in a way where it's a different version, like the Switch dockless or something like that, they might be able to bring some people in to, adopt the console. So definitely something to look forward to.
Yeah, they could do the same thing here if they could knock the price off a little bit. I'm sure there's probably more people that would be interested in a dockless Switch than me who wants a dock-only Switch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't mind buying another one if it was a dock, or how do you say it? It was just for the TV.
Yeah, just a box.
Just because that's how I play primarily on the Switch. I don't really like taking my Switch on the go, especially if I'm on the bus or something, just because I don't want to get like ripped off. But even then, like I have like gorilla hands, so it's like my hands cramp up when I play in the portable mode. So ideally, I refer back to the Pro controller more often than not. But the screen, though, I mean, as far as changing the screen, I don't know if that would sell me in regards to buying another Switch, just because I don't really think the Switch can handle like amazing looking video games like the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4. Now, granted, games like Super Mario Odyssey, it looks really slick, really glossy, but that's first party Nintendo. Not every Nintendo game is going to be great looking on the Switch. So I don't really even know if, let's say, I think OLED is better than
Right,
LCD,
and
if
that's
I'm
what
not
I would
mistaken.
say is, if they're talking about a screen upgrade, it's not going to be resolution because it can't handle it. But if you put an OLED in there, the colors will pop more.
Yeah,
But it
definitely.
probably makes the price go up too.
All right. So, you guys have anything else to mention or say on the Nintendo topic?
Nope, that's all for me.
No, it's pretty good. Yeah.
So we'll see if Nintendo comes out with that in sometime in 2019. Again, the company has sold 20 million units, so this could be a thing come next year. So our next topic is Assassin's Creed. So Assassin's Creed has been getting awesome review scores, but I want to know what you guys think about it because just in regards to context-wise, IGN's gave the game 9.2, US Gamer gave it a 9 out of 10, excuse me, and Games Radar gave it a 9 out of 10 as well. So first of all, did you guys even buy the game?
No. Are you kidding me?
No, I haven't bought the game. It's the new like system they have with the new gameplay from Origins. That's more RPG like, and now with Odyssey, they've definitely lost some fans who were with the franchise from the beginning. Of course, it's not enough to to stop the game, but they've definitely lost some people who were there. And even though it's getting really good reviews, and even though it's still a pretty good game, some people just aren't going to play it for that, drastic change that it has now, in the system. So, like me and David, I haven't played a AC game since Syndicate and
Wow.
Origins, and now Odyssey. I have no plans to play them. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's pretty much where I stand too. Like, so in fairness, I haven't played these games, but it's a very informed decision to not play these games. So if we were talking about this even 2 years ago, I'd come in here and be like, oh yeah, Assassin's Creed is my favorite series. Now I would say
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed was my favorite series because
Uh-huh.
uh, this is what they've done to it. They took, what was a fun historical run around cities, rooftops, you're super overpowered. Narratively, I think that makes sense. There's people that say the combat's too easy, but I would say if you're a master assassin, Ezio, you should be ripping through random guards with no problem at all. That aside, they've taken what was my favorite series and totally changed it into a cookie cutter Western RPG, Witcher light, Dark Souls light combat. They're like, oh, let's make the combat arbitrarily level gated, and so now you have to just attack, dodge roll, and I find that uninteresting. I hate that you can't you can't even assassinate people like with the blade. If they're
Yeah.
if they're a higher level than you, you can sneak up on somebody, stab them from behind, and they'll just turn around and kill you. I mean, they've taken so much of what I liked about this series and have just thrown it out the window. Modern day is another thing. That's at least more divisive, but I just think Origins was made by the Black Flag team, and Black Flag was the other game before Origins that was bizarrely to me loved over the top. It was the least Assassin's Creed game of them all, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is the best one." So basically, my stance here is, the wider general public doesn't like Assassin's Creed. They like other games when they slap the name onto it, and that's fine. But I just want my game back.
Yeah, I definitely with Black Flag. I agree that yeah, it wasn't really an Assassin's Creed game. But yeah, the pirate part of Black Flag really made it stand out and really made it really fun. But it's still just, the changes that they've made. Like I was talking to a friend the other day, and we were saying, "Wow, it doesn't even look like an AC game anymore. It's just Greek, just fighting." And it's kind of weird that they're saying, "Oh, it's an AC game," but it doesn't really look like one. It still has hidden blades and parkour and.
I mean, look at what they've done. We had a game called Assassin's Creed Origins, implying that it's the beginning, and then the next game takes place hundreds of years before Origins.
It's weird,
there's not even assassins and Templars in these games anymore. It's crazy. I don't like it. They're making a lot of money. They're getting these review scores. That's all bad news for me because that means they're never going back to the, in my opinion, better games. So, it's not quite dead to me, but it's pretty close.
Wow.
But I mean, for David, just a quick question. Sorry, Peter. Do you think that the high scores are because, it's just a good game in terms of like gameplay wise? Or like,
I mean,
story?
People are so obsessed with that Witcher style gameplay that's what, in my opinion, that's what Ubisoft is chasing. I mean, they specifically, I remember reading an interview where they called out Witcher as an influence for Origins. So, you get every game that comes out still now, they're like, this world is X times bigger than the last game. I'm like, well, the last game was obscenely large. Like, at some point, it doesn't have to get wider. You can just rein it in and make it more story focused. I'm not as interested about having 8,000 things on the map to do. It's it's just it's a problem for me, and I don't think they're going back. I think the people that I think the review scores, going back to that, I think really it's the people that are reviewing the games. You don't have to look very far to find gaming media tearing apart the old Assassin's Creed games. So for the most part, you have people reviewing them that didn't like the old ones anyway. So now that it's something that's closer to what they do like, now it's great. Everybody loves this. So, and that's okay. You don't have to be a fan of something to review it. But, if you didn't like what was there and now they've made it like another game that you like, I guess you're like, ooh, this is more Witcher. For me, I don't have that kind of time.
I don't think a lot of people with full-time jobs have that kind of time unless they're professionally working on video game reviews and stuff. And I may be in the minority here, but I think some of the best Assassin's Creed games were the original ones, maybe 1, 2, and 3. Me personally, I was a big fan of Assassin's Creed 3, and I know a lot of people didn't really like that game, but I thought it was great. I think
it was a lot of fun too. But I think the 8-hour Hatham tutorial was way too long. That one definitely went over the top in the hand holding. But yeah, I mean, for me, I started playing Brotherhood was the newest one by the time I got my PS3, and I went back and got used copies of the first ones, played my way through, and I was in. I was at the midnight launch for Revelations, and I was hooked thereon going forward, and then. I didn't get Black Flag right away because it was on PS4 only. I didn't have one yet. Where it really nosedived was, in my opinion, this is very unfair because Unity is what killed it, the memes. When Unity came out and they have the faceless, creepy skull pictures just everywhere because, it was, I mean, for what it was, I guess it was fairly widespread, but anecdotally, that game came out in, November or late October. Yeah. I bought it in December and never had any problem like that. The game crashed on me more than a game typically would. But that's it. I never had any of these crazy things that they're just mocking the game, like, oh, look how bad it is because somebody's face didn't load, So
it's also pretty kind of sad when you look at it, because when the first few AC games came out, leading up to maybe AC3, the franchise was known for kind of standing out on its own, this historical aspect, and stealth gameplay mixed with some kind of like leveling over time. But I think now with the annual releases, it's kind of lost its novelty where it doesn't feel special anymore. And I think there are reports now that they're going to take a year off next year. They're not going to have an AC game next year, but I think they need like more than a year to like maybe come back and then see, okay, what do people actually like about the series, and see what else they can
I hear you.
Bring back those old fans, I guess.
I hear you, but at the same time, there's at least 2 games in development right now
already. Yeah.
So it's not
That's true.
it's a criticism that I get, but it's not like a sports game where the development cycle is 9 months.
Yeah.
These games are like Call of Duty in the sense where they're working on them for 3 or 4 years, even though they're coming out every year. So, but to your point, that doesn't give them time to adjust to what fans like. But my worry on that is we had a year off after Syndicate and got Origins, which is taking the series in a drastically different direction that I don't like. And then yet they still had the Odyssey come out a year later. My hope was that Odyssey was going to be going back to the well of the ones that I liked better because it would have been in development longer, and it wasn't. So I think they're all in on this.
And there's no definite end for AC at all with like story wise. It seems like there's just going to be something they're going to make a game about. It seems like, I don't know.
To me, Assassin's Creed was always the story of the modern day Templars and Assassins fighting, and then you have to you have to find something in the past. But it applies to the present day. So, even like I think Unity was great, especially if you didn't get it right at launch. If you waited a month, Unity was great. Syndicate, great. But the downside of both of those games was they almost entirely cut out the present day stuff. So the gameplay was the top end, but after 3, the whole story of what to me made the games is pretty much gone. And if you read interviews, they had plans for this being a trilogy, and it made too much money, so they couldn't stop. That's essentially how we've gotten to this point. So I don't see any big change coming. Hopefully they squeak a little bit more modern day stuff in for me, but I think I said on Slack that maybe I'll get to Odyssey on backwards compatibility on PS5. I haven't touched Origins yet, and I'm sure when that gets down below $20, I'll probably give it a fair shot. But I don't think I'm gonna like it, and I don't see any reason I would like Odyssey either.
I think at this point, taking a year off is a little too late. Maybe if they were going to take a year off, it would have been like when you said after Syndicate. Or
no, they did take a year off
Unity.
After Syndicate.
Well, longer than that is what I'm trying to get to, because I think now taking a year off is just irrelevant. It's like if they stop making Madden games,
you're saying
be the same Madden game.
Like cease development and think about it for a year.
I think they need to. I don't think they're going to, obviously, because of all the great reviews that they're getting. So
and the profits.
Metrically, they
got shareholders to worry about.
Something right. Mm-hmm. So I really hope for your sakes that they steer it back into the more positive direction, which you guys see. And I hope that happens, just because I'd like to play an Assassin's Creed game like the old Assassin's Creed games. And I think, though I am interested in Odyssey, I don't see myself buying it anytime soon.
It's my one last thing I'll say is it is interesting on the modern days. If you follow any sort of online conversation like Reddit, I've watched it for a while, and initially it was modern day is terrible, get it out, and then once they started taking it out, then the other side gets louder, and now it's we want modern day back. So I wonder if the split is closer to kind of a 50-50 deal than most people think, but who knows.
All right, and any other final thoughts on Assassin's Creed?
Bring my game back. Don't let the Black Flag team do it anymore.
So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to have a review of Forza Horizon 4 for the Xbox One. Stick around. Hey guys, before we get started with our review, I just want to say thanks for listening. If you'd like to be a part of the show, head over to twitter.com/TSOGtweets and give us a follow. Send us a message using the hashtag TSOGpodcast, and we'll read it on our next show. Thanks for listening, and on with the review. Forza Horizon 4 is such an incredible game for Xbox One, and it's all I could possibly think about. Whether your focus is placed on graphics, audio quality, or the environment around you, Forza Horizon 4 delivers on all fronts. It has me hooked so bad, I thought about using a sick day from work just so I can play more Horizon 4. And while that may not be the responsible adult thing to do, it just goes to show how great the latest Forza game really is. Something cool that's been implemented into Forza Horizon 4 are seasons, which occasionally change the atmosphere and playground. While the change is welcome, I wasn't really interested in the winter season at all. That's because my car always seemed to slide in every possible direction while driving above 130 miles per hour. If I had to pick a favorite, I would definitely have to say that autumn was my seasonal choice, mostly because the sky was blue, the tunes were bumping, and smooth driving on the roadway was at its peak. What I really enjoyed the most in Forza Horizon 4 was the ability to drive virtually anywhere, and perhaps the cherry on top was the fact that I wasn't on a time limit at all. Horizon 4 lets me roam around, get into crashes, flip my car, and basically do all the sightseeing that I want to do. It's sort of like Skyrim but with cars. And when it was time to get back to business, all I had to do was open my map, select my preferred objective, and off I went. I really appreciate the freedom. And if anything, the ability to do what I want, when I want, proves that you're truly behind the wheel. Despite the beautiful graphics and amazing selection of songs played on various Horizon stations, the game wouldn't be much without its wealth of luxury cars. All the top brands are in the game, be it Audi, BMW, McLaren, or Bugatti. Regardless of which brands tickle your fancy, Forza Horizon 4 boasts hundreds of incredible looking cars which can be unlocked throughout the course of the game. The pick of the litter for me has to be the Aston Martin DB10. It's slick, sexy, and has 007 written all over it. Forza Horizon 4 is available now on Xbox One and Windows PC, and this brief review was done using Xbox Game Pass. And for more on Forza Horizon 4, head over to thestateofgames.com.